All right, let's take a look at the homework for this week. These are reviews from last unit, so let's take a look at the graph, and it asks us to think about the amount of candy and the cost in dollars for the amount of candy in pounds, right? So here's our y-axis, that's our cost. Here's our x-axis, that's the amount of pounds we're buying of candy. That's a lot of candy. All right, let's take a look at the first question. It says, what does the point 420 mean? So 4 we see here on the x-axis, that's the amount of candy. So in pounds, that's 4 pounds. And 20 we see on the y-axis. This is our y-axis. That's in dollars. So 4 pounds, $20. And this graph is showing us the cost. So we're going to say 4 pounds costs $20. That's what that's showing us. All right, let's take a look at another one. Oops. Determine the constant of proportionality for the cost per pound of candy. So there's a couple of ways we could do this. I'm not going to show that graph first. I could simply say, well, I know that it cost me $20 for 4 pounds. And I'm putting pounds on the bottom because it says here I'm looking for the cost per pound. It's telling me that I want to find the cost of 1 pound, and I want 1 to be on the bottom of my unit rate. So 1 pound on the bottom, 4 pounds on the bottom. And I say to myself, I can simply divide this by 4, and that would get me to 1 pound. I can divide $20 by the same divisor, by the same amount, and I would get $5 for 1 pound of candy. I could also look right over here. I put the graph over here so we could take a peek at it, and I could look at the unit rate on the graph, right? It says here, each pound, or 1 pound, cost $5. So I can see it on the graph as well. All right, now write an equation relating y, that's the pound, the cost of candy, relating the cost, y, to the pounds, x. So what we're going to start off with is y. I want to relate y. So I'm going to say y equals, and I want to find the cost of the candy. So I need to know how many pounds I'm going to buy. I could buy 1 pound, I could buy 2 pounds, I could buy 3 pounds. I could buy any number on that x-axis. Now, whatever I do, if I picked 4 pounds, I would have to pay $5 once, $5 twice, $5 3 times, $5 4 times. $5 4 times is 20. If I bought 2 pounds, I'd have to pay $5 once. I'd have to pay $5 twice. Paying $5 twice is 10 pounds. So I'm going to take that amount and multiply it by what? 5, 5, 5, 5. Each step is $5. So I'm going to multiply that by the number 5. This equation is often written this way. We'll see it as y equals 5x. And that's just because in mathematics we write the coefficient before the variable. So 5 times x is the same as x times 5. Don't worry about that. We just put the 5 in front because that's the syntax, the grammar, right? Just like capitalizing a sentence. There's no real reason to do it except that it's the way it's done, right? We capitalize the beginning of a sentence to show us that it's the beginning of a sentence. We put a coefficient in front of the x to show us that that's our multiplier. All right, I just realized that I'm doing all of these for you, so I better back off a little bit on some of the next ones. Let's take a look at some of these other problems. And by the way, right, if you're following along, just pause the video. I'm sure you know, if it didn't occur to you, pause the video and record these in your own homework or figure them out for yourself, right? All right, so number 4, again, okay, so this is another ratio problem. We're trying to find out, well, they're giving us 2 pieces of information. It says 1/15 of an inch of rain falls in 1/8 of a minute. So I've got a couple units here, inches and minutes. It's asking me to find out how much the rate at which the rain is falling in inches per minute. This is really important. This per minute tells me that my rate is going to have 1 minute on the bottom, right? This is going to be my unit rate when they ask me per minute, right? I don't know. So let's go back and use the information that we have to make sure that minutes are on the bottom, right? It says 1/8 of a minute. I'm going to put that on the bottom so it'll match with my minutes and my unit rate. And it says 1/15 of an inch. I'm going to put that on top because it'll tell me inches per minute. And that's what we're being asked to do, right? Inches on top per, can be read as this line, per 1 minute. So how do I turn 1/8 into 1? Well, I'm going to multiply it by its reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1/8 is 8. I'll write it as a fraction though. 1 times 8 is 8. 8 times 1 is 8. And of course that equals 1 minute. If I multiply the bottom by 8 over 1, of course I'm going to multiply the other term by 8 over 1. Now I just noticed I messed up here. This should be 1/15 of an inch. My bad. So when I multiply these, 1 times 8 comes out to be 8, and 15 times 1 is 15. 8 and 15 do not have a common factor, so our answer is going to be 8/15 of an inch per minute. All right? The rest of these can be done in the same way, right? So look for these per hour. This is going to be set up. Your answer is going to have 1 on the bottom, hour, right? Per hour. The next one, it says per second. So your answer is going to have 1 second on the bottom. Number 7, dollars per hour. Your answer is going to have 1 hour on the bottom. Why is that useful? Well, let's go back and take a look. That means that over here, you're going to be starting with hours on the bottom and the other term on the top. I think it's ounces. Right? In this one, right, if seconds are on the bottom, look at your other term, 720 times, right? So that'd be on the top. Seconds would be on the bottom, right? These have to match up. In number 7, if hours are going to be on the bottom, the information that you get in the problem, you're going to put hours on the bottom. I think it's 4 hours in this problem. And the other unit is going to be on the top. Okay, make sure you're matching those up correctly. And that'll do it for you. I think that's it for this part. I'm going to make another video for the division of mixed numbers. So this is to get you started on the first 2 days of homework. And we'll make a second one for the fractions because it's so different.